Start recording. Okay, we are live. Katey, if you could just start by telling us your story. Obviously, I know I sent you some questions, earlier, so I'm just going to kind of go along that, but just tell us your story and just speak the Katey B into us.
Okay. So I joined when I was 18. I was working 10 to 12 hour shifts at a restaurant. I was going to school full time, like 18 hours for pre-law. And so I was super, super packed. I was busy. I had a social life. I went out, I did all the things. And I actually was following Shay because I knew her boyfriend from when I was little. And so I always saw her post. I unfollowed her before. I never liked her pictures. I didn't want anything to do with her. I was just watching her. Okay. And yeah, it was like 5th grade. So, but anyway, so I knew her, and then I saw her at Pasafina. So that was the place that I worked, and she sat down and I waited on her table, and she had no idea who I was, but they all knew who I was. And so I just watched her from there. I ended up messaging her 3 weeks later. I was like, do you really make money? And you guys know I was that rude. I was like, do you really make money? Okay. And she was like, yes, I really make money. And she like went on this whole spiel. And at this time, guys, Shay was maintaining executive. Okay. Diamond at executive. I didn't know that. So even if you're not maintaining your rank, just continue to talk about your rank that you are, your lifetime rank. Okay. So I joined, and 2 weeks later I quit. I told Shay to leave me the F alone. That's my exact words of what I told her. And so I watched her and watched her and watched her. And then 6 months later, I found out I was pregnant. So I texted Shay the day I found out I was pregnant. I was like, I need to go diamond ASAP. I refuse to work when I'm pregnant. 120 days later, I went diamond. I got all the bonuses. So I made about $15,000 in bonuses over a 120-day span. Retired corporate America, October 2018. Had a baby in December. And then 90 days later, I went double. Got the $15,000 bonus then. And then I realized that I had postpartum anxiety, and my entire business froze. I lost people in my business I never thought that I would lose. I saw my highest paycheck, and then somebody on my team that was projected to go without doing anything, just their volume, left my business. One of my diamond, she was a diamond at the time, was like, I want to do with you. You're mean, and I refuse to work this business with you anymore, so I'm going to do my own thing. So I lost another piece of my team. My third leg that I was building completely fell off the face of the earth. So in my mind, my entire team crumbled. I felt like I was losing my mind. I was scared to go outside with my baby. And so my business was put on the back burner. Then this is my angry leader stage that I really phased into at this time. Okay. And then I kind of started to come out of it around August, September. And then I lost my double diamond rank for the first time. I lost rank. And then a month later, my mom died. And then my business fell apart again, all over again. And I wasn't losing my leaders at this time, losing people that I needed for my promotion. And so I got very, very just distant with my business. Like I was here and I was showing up, but I wasn't doing anything behind the scenes. So then I kind of dealt with the grief and stuff. And then I called Shay in January, and I was like, I'm going to go press this year. I don't care what I have to do. I was like, I'll cut my arm off for you. And that was my exact words. You can ask her. Okay. And so then I just went triple, and that was a lot, you guys. My volume ended in January. I barely maintained diamond. Okay, I still hadn't gotten my double diamond rank back. Barely maintained diamond in January. And then in February, I maintained double. March, I maintained double. And I just went triple. But my volume last month was way low. It's stupid that I even promoted. There was no way. Like literally, I was like, okay, probably 60 more days. It's probably not going to happen. Guys, my volume jumped over 30,000 in 30 days. That's stupid. From where I was barely maintaining diamond into now. And I look back, and Shai asked me to do the Zoom, and I was like, I don't even know what I'm going to talk about. I was like, that's probably what it is, because I know it's like to be so low in your business, or maybe feel like people promoted around you. Because like last year when Shy promoted and Kayla promoted and everybody was promoting, I was like, okay, like, where's mine? And it never happened. And it was because I wasn't where I needed to be as a leader. I wasn't ready to lead a VIP team. My faith was like non-existent a year ago. And so that's my story.
I just have so many words, and I don't know if I'm just like promotional emotions, but like I'm actually really trying not to cry. Okay, so I'm just gonna give also like a kind of a little like backstory, I guess, about Katey. One, I'm obsessed with her / you. Um, it's so funny because like we're so alike and so different at the same time. So I mean, just seeing like the outside of it, I guess, is like this girl has been through the ringer, you guys, and we honestly like we're close, but not to that level. And I feel like it was honestly just recently when like we really just started kind of like connecting more, and that's when I realized, I was like, Katey is my twin, separated at birth. Awesome. But just like other like similarities that we have, like we both joined, did not see a $2,000 paycheck, and we were like, ooh, like booted out because we're just so money hungry. But also another thing, just like thank you for being so transparent. Like I literally have chills because like oh my god, I just have so many words. But it's just like you guys, like I don't even know how to like explain like mentally what I'm trying to say, but like she's literally been through the ringer, like point blank. She's been through it and she still showed up. And like, yeah, like we've all had times in my business. I can 100% attest to the fact that I put my business on the back burner because I thought my life was falling apart, that my team was falling apart. So it's just like, if you have ever felt like that, like you can change that. And I think that's like one of the biggest things I take from Katey's story and just like watching her journey is like, she decided what she was going to do and she literally changed it. And watching that happen, like as an outsider, I was just like, oh my gosh. Like I remember when we were talking one day and she was like, I'm 14,000 from triple. And I was like, well, God, it's going to be done tomorrow with like you and your team. And I was just like she's literally just a fireball. And so I just had to say that. But oh gosh. So I have like, obviously I know I sent you a couple of questions, and also if anyone has any questions throughout this, definitely just put them in the chat. I have it pulled up so I can like keep watch on it. But I guess gosh, there's just so many things I want to ask, honestly. But the first thing I want to ask is obviously like telling us your story. Like we know that you've gone through a lot. So really, like what was the last 3-4 months, I guess, like what was that really like tell us like mentally, I guess, like what happened for you to just say like I'm not going to maintain double anymore and I'm going to go triple diamond. So kind of just like take us through that.
Okay, so I guess what clicked for me is that why wouldn't I? And like if I got here, why can't I get it back? Like just because you lose a rank doesn't mean you're no longer worthy of it. That doesn't mean anything. Because what I realized is actually I went back and I looked in my journal, and I literally like on the first day of the year, I went and looked back, and me and Courtney got on Zoom and we were reading our journals to each other, like what our goals were. You guys know what I wasn't doing. I wasn't pouring into myself anymore. And I wasn't doing the dirty work. Like I wasn't talking to people and building connections with people anymore. Like I wanted them to work because they wanted it for themselves. But once you start to become a leader in this business, you realize that like people won't just work to work. They won't. They have to work for someone because their minds previously linked to corporate America, and in their mind, they work for someone to please someone else in order to get their money. So in this business, when they first join, they kind of need a boss, but not to tell them what to do. They like need a new BFF. When you hear like your upline is your BFF never knew you needed, that's true in this business. If they join and you just build that connection with them and you teach them and you praise them for every small win, they'll do everything that you say because they'll trust you and they'll want the wins and they'll want your affection and your validation for everything. No matter what color they are, any color you are. you want your upline to praise you for everything. So that's probably what changed for me, was my connections with people.
No, and I really, really like that, because obviously I know you and I have talked about this a lot. Is that something that I struggle with so badly? Because I am split right down the middle, red and green, and it comes out in stages, because sometimes I'm a Shrek and sometimes I literally look like a tomato. So like it literally just goes back and forth. And something that I always knew about Katey was she just like always knew her team and like could actually connect with them. And I was just like, how do you do that? Like, tell me what you do. So, and I just thought it was crazy, because just like I said, like seeing her journey and just seeing like things that have happened on her team and how she, I don't want to say dealt with it, but just kind of like, okay, it's happening. This is what we're going to do. Like she always was like so solution minded about things. Also, Katey and I are not we're not like down lines. We're sideline sisters. I felt like I just had to say that, but it was just like always being able to like connect with someone else that was the same, like one of the same primary colors as me. But like she was always just solution minded for things. Like even when I would just come to her about things, it was always like, okay, well, what are you going to do to fix it? And I'm like, oh God, okay. So it was just like, well, I just wanted to call to complain. And she's like, no, we're not doing that here. What are we doing to fix it? And I can tell that she like portrays that, I guess, down to her team as well. And I like also even just like building these connections with your team, you guys, like it has done something so different for me. Like it is something that I've taken such like care on, I guess, just trying to connect more with my team, and especially on my third leg, because obviously like we're pushing ambassador. I just manifested that. I want all of y'all to hear that. I just said I'm pushing ambassador. So wow, okay, but pushing presidential, and obviously you want like just like build those connections. And it was really when I started like connecting with these girls, and I was just like, it doesn't matter like what I want anymore. And I was like, I need to help these girls. And once I started doing that, and obviously I've been doing that with all like my entire team, but just on my third leg itself, this leg has literally exploded within the matter of like weeks, it feels like, just because I've been trying to connect with these people so deeply. So that was also one thing I wanted to ask, or kind of like touch on as well. But I'm trying to think. So just like a side note, I'm sure people are probably wondering, do you have like a 6 list that you do, or like a checklist? Like how do you like work your business?
Okay, so I'm a mom, and I physically cannot sit down and send 100 messages. Before I was a mom, if you find some of my OGs and you ask them this, I told my team they had to send 300 messages when I joined. If you want to know how I went diamond fast and my diamond checks were very above average, I literally messaged 300 people a day. That's it. I had no excuses. That's all I did. I posted, I messaged, and I followed up, and that was exactly how I signed so many customers. When I first joined my business, I signed a lot of customers, and it was because I messaged so much. And that's also why my business hit a wall, was because I messaged so much. I exhausted my market, and I didn't grow my market, and I didn't build connections, and I just only messaged. So anyways, I used to do a lot of that. But now that I'm a mom, I have to break it into pieces. So if you guys have seen a 6 list breakdown that I've made, I've put it in Boss Tribe before. I don't know if you guys use it, but I just pick what I want to do, what I want to like really touch on. So I know I struggle a lot with making sure that my mind is right. Just because I do struggle a lot with the postpartum depression and anxiety still. So I do a lot of self-development, and I do a lot of prayer. And so I put that in my first section. So that's my 6 list. I do the self-development and the prayer and the journaling. I do the music all before Charlotte wakes up. And then I send 25 messages on Instagram, 15 on Facebook. I just try not to message a whole lot on Facebook unless like I'm being super interactive. But if I know I'm not going to be super interactive, I kind of keep it to like 15 per time that I Facebook. And so that's kind of how I do that. And then I post 3 times a day. So I post a random post, like a quote or something about Charlotte or whatever, a life post and a product post. And I separate that into sections for whatever fits my day. Your guys' day is going to be different than mine. So I do a product post, a random post, and then my life post every day. And I roughly send about 100 messages a day, but that's Instagram and Facebook combined. and I make sure that I do a host a post at night. So I don't know how your guys' day works. My audience responds really, really well to host a post at night. I have a lot of moms. I have a lot of older people, so they tend to be on their phones later at night. So I post my host post at night. I do all my host posts while everyone's asleep. And then it's the first thing they see in the morning. It's the first message they see in the morning. It's their first notification they see. And so that's kind of my 6 list is post message and host post every day, non-negotiable.
No, yeah, I love that. And I feel like, I know I was going to ask you also about like being a mom in this business, which we'll get into in a second, but I just love that you like, I feel like even though she is a mom, like we do still work our businesses the same way. Cause like I do that too. And like, I've also been waking up like super early, like 5 a.m. early. And like, it's hard, you guys, like, oh, it's hard, but it's like once I started doing that, and I feel like I had like an actual revelation today, and I literally bawled for like 6 hours, but it's fine. But I feel like a lot of that came because I'm waking up at the butt crack of dawn, and I love my team. I'm not saying this in a bad way. I am doing my personal development before you guys are texting me. And like, I feel like I need to do that because if it's 8 a.m., which honestly is kind of late, really, like with how like my team's dynamic is, if I'm waking up at 8 a.m. or 7 a.m. at whatever, but going to work out, doing my personal development and like handling myself, I'm not attentive to my phone until like 10, 11 a.m. And it is blown up with stuff, which is also good, but you have to make sure that your mind is okay and like that you are like good to go. So like I've been waking up super early. I make a half thing of skinny brew. I watch a sermon. I journal. I pray. I read my Bible. I read a book. I like do my time to like to myself. I go work out, come back, and that's when I start working. And yes, it is still around 10, 11 a.m. when I begin my work day, but I've done all that, like all those other things previously before like the world is awake, it feels like. And that has seriously changed my business so much just within like the matter of weeks that I've been doing that. And I don't wake up that early every single day. It's really just like, I mean, like I still do my personal development every single day, but on days that I'm not working out, I don't wake up early because I don't need to wake up that early if I'm not going to go work out for 2 hours, you know? So I feel like it really just depends on your schedule. Like, yes, I wake up at 5 a.m. You do not have to wake up at 5 a.m. Like you need to just fix it into your schedule. But I promise you, doing that personal development as soon as you wake up is completely going to change everything because you immediately just have all of that like good like pouring into you. And honestly, sometimes you're going to cry in the morning and that's okay. You get your cry out for the day and you're good to go. And like it happens sometimes, but I literally has helped me so much. So I love that you also do that because that's kind of how my day works as well. But the next thing I was going to ask is being a mom. I'm not a mom. I have a cat. Y'all know that. So how do you, I don't want to say how do you work this business being a mom, but I mean, I'm sure you know what I'm asking because I just don't know what it's like, but how do you be a mom and work this business?
I just had this conversation. Like I just got off FaceTime with one of my girls and she was like, I don't know how to do this. And I'm honest, like you're probably not gonna like my answer. If you're a mom and you have the excuses and you have that I don't have time, you just freaking do it because everybody has life. Everybody has an obligation. Everybody has all the things. You just have a kid. So like, yes, it gets hard. And yes, there's days Charlotte is screaming and I'm trying to send a voice message or I'm supposed to have a coaching call and she's pulling my hair or thinks she needs to nurse and pulling my shirt up and screaming. But like, that's your life. You chose to do this business as a mom. You want the extra income. You want these things, but you're not willing to just do it, that just like make it work. And yeah, that might come off as a little red, but it's a job that you signed up for. So if that's not the job that you want, then why are you here? And if you're not getting the income and you're not having the time, it's probably because you're not making the time. Because I had that excuse. I had it, well, Shay, because you guys know I'm red. So Shay comes at me with that red, not the yellow. Okay. So when I'm not working, she comes to me, she's like, what is your issue? This was a year ago. I work every day now, but at the time, what's your issue? Why are you not working? You have the team, you have the enrollments. What's your issue? And it was simply, I was like, oh, I'm tired. Charlotte cries a lot. She does. I'm just tired. Technically I don't need this to survive because Caleb's money pays the bills. So like, I guess I don't need it. I just won't be able to have all the other things that I want. that switch in my head flipped eventually. I made time. I got up earlier. I got the new car. I paid off all Caleb's debt. I bought him a new motorcycle. I started paying all the bills. We had a savings account and life got easier. So if you're struggling and you say you don't have time and your life is still hard, it's going to have to get harder for a little bit before it gets easier. So that's my answer to that.
No, and I really like that. And like honestly, like even not being a mom, you guys, like there are days that I do not want to do this. Like it is so simple, but there are days when like I would just rather just lay in bed all freaking day. Like I'm just being honest. And I know that there's times where I know like Danny will text me and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Are you gonna make me get out of bed and go on work Zoom with you?" And I'm like, "Oh my God." It's just like, but it's also like it's cool to have that accountability also, because like I always know like I can text you guys and say like, who wants to work? And I know at least someone's gonna hop on a Zoom with me. So but like I love that you said it like that though, because like yes, like red, but at the same time, like I said, I don't know what it's like being a mom, but I mean, I don't know, like you just have to do it, because like I just love what you said, because I feel like it just kind of like tied everything together at the same time. And then I also like what you said when you were like, it's gonna have to get harder for a little bit before it gets better, because that was kind of something that I was thinking to myself the other day, was like looking back at like my personal business. It was really about mid-November to December when it clicked in my head, I have to work. It was really around that time. And I honestly feel like it was when I went to Boston and I spoke on stage on freaking live TV, whatever you want to call it. It works TV, maintaining diamond as a triple diamond. And all of these people were looking up to me like, "You're amazing." And I'm like, "I'm a piece of trash." Like, oh my gosh. Like that was just like the mindset that I had. And like it was crazy. And I feel like it was honestly coming back from that when I hadn't enrolled a customer. I only enrolled a distributor because we were going to freaking Margaritaville and I was gonna get those freaking points. But it was just like I had to figure out what to do. And I'll be honest with you guys, it got worse. Like it really did. Like volume still dropped. My paycheck went lower, but then it went back up. And it's only got up from there. And like that was the biggest thing, was just seeing my lowest, like one of my lowest paychecks in years, you guys, in December, and then seeing it immediately double in January. And then it went up by a couple extra hundred, and it went up by 1,000. And I don't even want to know what it's going to go up by here in a couple days, which I also can't wait for you to see your first triple diamond paycheck. I'm so excited for you.
Yeah.
But it's just like I feel like would it work, or how it works is like, I think it was Grant Cardone that said this, but it's like the work that you see now, or the results that you're seeing now, is from the work that you put in 30 to 69 or 30 no 60 to 90 days ago. Yeah. And it was just like, that is crazy, because like what you guys are like reaping in this harvest right now is what you guys did in March. I think this is May, I don't really know, but it just works like that. And it's crazy because the longer that you continue pushing, it's only going to grow. And I know that for myself, like whenever I kind of went on this like, I'm triple diamond, I don't need to work my business anymore, my paychecks were steady for like 3 months. It was just like, ooh, just like down this slide. And one, that was my decision. But if I would have just immediately picked it back up, everything would have been fine. But it was the moment that I saw that decrease that I was like, oh my God, it's falling apart. But like I was the one that made it fall apart, you know? So that was just another thing that I liked what you said, just because like, I don't know, I feel like that just like helps a bunch. But always remember, like in this business, it's not going to be that instant gratification. And like it's hard because like there are times when I wish, like today, for example, I got 30 potentials off of one post for a TFX. Did I have a customer order yet? No. Do I have a lot of dates? Yeah. So it's just like, it happens, but like, it's not that instant gratification that so many of us want. So like, if you're ever feeling like that, that's why we say be consistent. And like, I feel like it all just kind of ties in together, because if you are consistent, you are going to see those results. Oh, actually, that was my next question, is to talk about consistency. So that flowed perfectly. So can you just touch on that also?
Yeah, because I mean, I've struggled with the paychecks. Like I know what it's like to go from those real nice hefty checks to like wow, Katey, really? And it was just, and I started to look, I document everything, like everything. Part of like my anxiety, my doctor told me to write everything down so that I can see how my thoughts are and the things I'm thinking about. And so I started to write them down, and I realized that when my checks were lower, I was super anxious, but like I wasn't doing anything. And I realized that when I work my business and I work and I'm consistent and I'm loud about what I'm doing and I'm just messaging and I'm just doing the freaking things, I'm not anxious. So just do it. You don't feel like doing it that day? Do you want a paycheck? Do you want your team to work? Because at the end of the day, your team can tell if you're working or not. Because y'all know Courtney's my best friend. She's my double for my triple. She's going triple this month. She is my best friend ever. So I know when she's not working, and I can tell when she's not working based on if I'm working. But when I'm hustling, all she talks about is enrollments. So that's like firsthand. Every single thing that I'm doing, she's doing because she knows I'm doing it. So your work is going to breed your team's work. So if that's not motivation enough for you, then you probably need some more self-development or some leadership guidance or something, or just maybe I don't really know. But consistency comes down to just self-discipline. And if you're not willing to do that for yourself, then you have an issue at heart right now. That's not the business. It's not your team. It's you. And that can be fixed. So that's my answer to that.
No, that was a freaking word. We should just end it now, honestly, because that was honestly just really good. I really liked how you answered that. And like, I can even say, like, I like how you said you're anxious, or you feel anxious when you're not working. Cause like, I feel that, like, and I feel like I also have like anxiety problems, and it's crazy because just like sitting here thinking about it, I'm like, I was really anxious at like mid-month last month. And I'm thinking, and I'm like, that's also when I stopped doing host to post. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, that is literally like, it ties together. And it's crazy because like, I don't know, it was just crazy hearing you say that, and then just being able to kind of point myself out and just saying like, okay, yeah. And like, honestly, you guys, like, I have been nonstop doing host posts this month. I've signed my third DT of the month, and then I signed my 10th customer. It's literally like the 6th, I think. Yeah. And it's crazy, but it's just being consistent, and it's just working, like, in the simplest way, just working. And especially if you guys are on the host post train right now, which if you're not, please hop on it. But like, I was talking about this with someone on a coaching call, but just doing host to post is literally your 6 list. You're growing your market, you're messaging, you're posting, like, you're getting potentials, you're signing people. It is essentially a huge chunk of what we need to do every single day. And that's also why a lot of us are preaching host post right now. So I liked what you said about that. That was super, super good. Trying to think. So I feel like you kind of already talked about this, but like, what are your biggest tips for enrollments right now? Like, what are you doing to get enrollments?
Honestly, I talk a lot to everyone. I do all the voice messages, all the lives. I talk on my story. Like, I message a lot, and I do host to post, but until now, like, host to posts have been like, I do them, but they're not like a big part of my day. So my lives and just talking out loud about the products, about how they make me feel, that I have had results. If you've had results with the products, talk about your pant sizes. Okay. When I talk about how many pant sizes I've lost, I get so many potentials because I'm like, yeah, I went down 10 pant sizes in a year and I'm a mom. That's an eye catcher. So talk about that. Or talk about how your face has shrunk. If you use keto coffee and you've lost 10 pounds, I can promise you see a difference in your face. I promise. Your face is going to be clearer because it's got the collagen in it. You're going to feel better, especially because you're probably not eating that muffin that you were eating every day. You're probably having keto coffee instead. So you can probably see the difference in your cheeks. Talk about the difference. Talk about how you feel. And that's my biggest tip, is just talk about it. Like, you can do all the posts and all the messaging, but if you're not talking, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot.
No, yeah, I love that. And like, literally, if you guys have not seen Katey's results, like, I literally put in the chat, I was like, you're disappearing and you're hot. Like, she's literally disappearing. Like, she looks so good. And it is because of this product, like, because of these products, you guys. And like, even myself, like, if you've been here for a hot minute, these little chipmunk cheeks I used to have, they're not there anymore. Like, it's crazy, but it's just like, just talk about your results and like, don't think of it as like, I'm talking about myself. No, you're talking about yourself because you're freaking hot and you're using these products and you want to share them with people. And like, that's just like the biggest thing I can say is like, I know Caroline Floyd does that as well. And she has amazing results too. And she talks about them every single day. But you know what? She signs hella volume, hella customers, and also a lot of distributors because she's talking about that. And I feel like also just simply showing your face on your story, like every time I go look at Kateys story, there is a video of her. And I love that because like one, you can see what she's doing during the day. So if you're a potential distributor, you know that she can do this working at home as a mom. And like especially like of a baby too. And like I feel like that's just good to see from everyone, and just showing her face just simply shows the results that she's had also. Because if you see her and you've seen that like what her before was, it's just crazy to see like what she looks like now, because I mean it's crazy. But yeah, I love that a lot. So this is the last question I have for you. But if, like I said, if anyone else has any questions for her, and like you can private message me, private message her, and she'll get them answered for you guys. But what is the biggest thing you've learned as a leader? And I know this is like such a loaded question, because I know for myself, I could write an entire book about it, but just like, what is one thing you think that's really just stuck out to you about growing into that leadership and as a leader in general?
Okay, so you guys know I'm red. So if you've ever had a red on your team, you know that they're extreme coach, especially if their secondary color is blue. Okay. The reason I say that is just because if it's not fun and it's not their way, you're probably not going to get through to them. Okay. So I led my business very angry, very demanding, very controlling in the beginning of my business. And I had to learn that people didn't have to adapt to my leadership, but I had to adapt to people. Because at the end of the day, this is a people business. And if you can't learn to work with multiple colors and different kinds of people, then why are you here? You're looking to be a manager, not a leader, and they're two different things. If you want to be a manager, you can go to school, you can go get a business degree, and you can go work at McDonald's and be a manager and go tell people to flip burgers if you just need to tell people what to do. But if you're looking to be a leader, you have to change your heart and your mind and how you speak to people. If you haven't watched Kelsey Thornton's Color Zoom, I really, really urge you to. It's just an hour. It's not like Katie Bevington's where you got to watch 4 different ones. Just watch Kelsey Thornton's, okay? It actually gives you key questions on how to speak to different colors in their language. So I can give y'all like just a question per one. A red is when. So if you have a red on your team, ask them when they want to do something. This is the biggest thing, is especially if you're learning how to lead, learn the colors. It'll help you communicate with people so much. Yellow is who. So who can you help in their downline? Who can they benefit? Yellows are really good at signing customers because they're so personable with people and they care so much about how you feel, that yellows are really, really, really good at signing customers. So if you can show them that they're helping somebody, their shopping sprees can be really easy. Sometimes they struggle a little bit with distributors because they have to explain the business, and that kind of scares them. It's intimidating. They can't connect to them on how it feels yet because they don't know. So you'll have to hone in more on distributor host to post for yellows. So for green, it is why. No. How.
Yeah,
Green
I'm gonna say green is now.
Green is how. So if you have a green, like Shy, she's like, okay, but how do I do that? Like, I'll do it, but how? How do I do a host to post? How do I answer that message? How do I make that post? How do I have this conversation? It's always, but how? And it almost comes off as rude. So if you have a green in your downline and they ask you how, they're probably not being rude. They probably just genuinely don't understand you. They have no idea what you're talking about. So when they ask, how do I make money? Show them the compensation plan. I'm so serious. I have a green on my team. And she was like, I just feel work because like, I don't get it. I downloaded the compensation plan and sent it to her as a PDF. She now works. Magic. Just understand them. And then blue. Blue is why. If you can convince a blue why they need to do something, they will do it. But if they don't have an entire explanation, they don't understand. They don't. You can't say, okay, send 25 messages. Why am I doing that? Because this will help you get customers. Okay, but why do I need customers? To get your shopping spree, to promote, to make money. Okay, then they'll do it. But it's got to be that answer behind it. So my biggest one that I've learned is to adapt.
No, I love that. And like, obviously, I know you and I have had multiple hour-longs of FaceTime calls about this. And she was actually the one that told me to go and watch this Zoom. Y'all know I'm green. Y'all see these notes? Okay. Like, I was over here just soaking up every single thing that was coming out of Kelsey's mouth. But it's crazy, like, as a leader, like, you have to adapt to other people's colors. Like, y'all know I'm a green red, and I have to adapt to people that are yellow and blue on my team. But like, that's not a bad thing. Like, you want to be able to connect with these people on your team. Ooh, sorry. Because if they know, it's like, there's like a saying like that, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And like, that is so big for people. Like, it literally means something just like crazy. But I love what you just like, how, I don't know, like, I love that answer, because I feel like that really, really helps. Because like I said, as a leader, or like she said, as a leader, you have to adapt to all of the different colors, and you'll learn how to do that. But it comes from personal development, and that's something that I know Katey takes very, very seriously. So just take it from her. Like, this is literally so important. That's why we preach it so, so much. But yeah, that was literally so freaking good. I'm like looking over the color personality thing to see if I wanted to talk about anything like that. But I guess like another thing I'll say, like, for any of my greens on here or greens that are watching this, like, if you just simply tell them, like, I just need to know how, because I cannot tell you guys how many times I have called Katey and she's like, just do this, and I'm like, how? And she's like, just like text her, how? Because like, I just like need to know how. And it's never coming off as rude, but like, if I do not know how to do something from A to Z, I am not doing it. Like, 100%. And that was something that I know I called Danny about today, which was crazy, because like, I figured out how. And that's also something that greens do struggle with in the business, is like, how, because you're supposed to kind of let that go. Like, you don't need to worry about the how. But if you're a green, it's the only freaking thing you think about. And it is literally like, it is like, oh my gosh, it's crazy. Color test, is there a link I can send to my team? It's the Jacob Adami one. Shay actually did just post it in the Boss Tribe page if you want to go use that. But use that one is super, super good. Also, I wrote this down. Someone asked in the chat, what helps you enroll when your team isn't working?
Okay, this is going to be really red. I don't know who asked this, but this is going to come off really red. If your team's not working, then go finding people, like point blank. If they're not working, then they don't want it. And if you have to convince someone or you have to drag them back to make them work, it takes more time to convince them to work than it would have taken you to just go find a new distributor and train them. Because at the end of the day, you have to be like, hey, if you work, you can make $500. You really think it's fun to revamp somebody's business? It's way more fun to train a new distributor. Way more fun. Because then when you chart them for Ruby, they're like, bless you. You just helped me get $500 in 30 days. But when somebody who's already in the business and you had to drag them back and you re-chart them for whatever promotion, they're not as thankful. They're not as excited, and that's draining for you. So you shouldn't ever stop building. You should continue to have new blood. But if you do come to that, you go pray for that new DT and you add that extremely excited person into your business, and your business will thrive. I promise.
No, like, that's so, so good, because like, I know that, especially like with my like personal team and everything, like, after I went double, you guys, I was in my red angry leader stage, and my team left me. Like, I bulldozed my team, and they were not here anymore. And I literally had like 3 girls I could work with on my team. Yeah, Danny's raising her hand because she's one of them. And I had like 3 girls that I could just talk to, and I was like, I love you guys. Like, I was like, I don't know how to love people. I don't know how to care about people. So what can I do? And Shay was like, love on the girls you have and enroll new ones. And I was like, okay. And that's literally what I did. And from the time that was around like November of 2018, I guess. And from that time, like, it really took until conference, honestly, like in January, for my business to change. my paychecks went 2,000, 4,000, 12,000 with months. I'm not lying with you guys. Like my paychecks were just like boop, 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 because I literally found new blood and I found new people. Yeah, Michaela joined in too, and like Danny, she goes, I had no clue what was going on. I was just like new. Like she was just new, and I think she was going Ruby, and she was like awesome, and I was like, that was the only promotion on my team this month. Like, because like they have no idea what's going on, you guys, but like literally it's just the excitement. Like me being excited for Danny is what's kept her going and has her going triple diamond this month, you know? And like it's crazy to think like all these people, because it's like I know Michaela joined right after I went or that was right before I went triple, and just like looking down in the chat, a bunch of you guys weren't even in the business when any of this was happening, you know? And like that's insane to think about, but like it is new blood. Like if these people are not working, just find new ones. And I don't mean that like heartless, but it is going to take so much more out of you as a person to drag along a dead body. And like that's one thing. It's like you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. I think that's the saying. I hope I said that right. But it's just like you can't, and like it's just not worth it, you know? And so I love this so freaking much. I don't want
I
to
have something else.
Go ahead. Preach to us.
I want everyone to hear this, because Shay said it earlier on our VIP call, and I don't know if you told your team, but they need to hear this, okay? Earlier we were on a VIP call with Kelly, and I don't know, one of her girls asked some questions, and Shay's face was just like, anything that makes you feel less than, that's not God. And, you know, we center our entire business around faith, and whatever God puts into our business, like that's what's going to be there. Last month, like if you guys are pushing, Danny, I know you're going for VIP, girl. I'm praying for you, okay? Praying for your mind this month. But you guys, if it makes you feel less, then it's Satan. If it makes you doubt yourself, it makes you doubt your team, if you get angry towards your team, if you get angry towards your promotion, if you think you need to go to bed early because you just can't do it, you can't do it. I promise. Because if you feel any less worthy than what you know that you are, God didn't make you less worthy or less than her or less than that VIP or less than that Prez or less than that Ruby or that Emerald or that Diamond. But God put you here. He put you with that team, with this opportunity. He put you that close, and he put that vision there for a reason. So if you feel as if you're less than, that's what my post about was today, because I literally could not get this out of my mind. It was just like, if it makes you feel less than, then it's not true. And then the last thing that I remember that was, I know it's big, but God's bigger. You ever like looked at your chart and said, I wonder how big God is? Oh, this Ruby chart's got 4 people. Oh, I know God's bigger than that. Who says that you can't do it, girl? This girl on this VIP call went from double to Prez in 30 freaking days. Bro, what? 30 days from double to Prez. You can do it. I promise you can do it, bro. It's not that big. If you just say that, it'll just happen. Okay, I'm done.
No, that was literally so good. As soon as you said like on our call today, and I was like, Katie, say it, I literally went to Facebook and I 100% copied your post, and I'm changing it, but it's going to be posting soon. So, because it was so good, and like, it was just crazy. Cause like, I don't know. I mean, like, obviously like doubt can creep in for all of us. Like we're not just invincible to it, but it was just like that phrase literally just changed everything. Like it was absolutely crazy to me just saying, or just hearing her say like, if it makes you feel less than, it's not God. And I was like, oof, because like it happens, you guys. And like obviously you guys know this team's been pushing for presidential for 14 months. That's a long time. You think I don't doubt that sometimes? Like, dang. Like at one point I was like 90,000 away. And I was like, and that was like a couple months ago, you guys, and I'm not joking, okay? Like I was just like, how am I ever supposed to go Prez? I got 12,000 volume at the end of the month. Like what the hell? Like I can't do this. And like literally now, that was in December, you guys. I ended December with 12,000 volume, okay? It was embarrassing. I was like, I hope no one sees this ever. But what we ended last month with, we're less than 40,000 from presidential right now, you guys. 40,000, okay? I just got chills, literally. And like, it is insane because like, it is just the matter of the time. And it's just like, these mountains are being literally thrown away. And another thing that Shay said on that Zoom, which like really, really stuck to me was, where'd it go? It's like when you, like as a leader, if your team sees you pushing for these huge goals, they no longer think that their goals are crazy. And like that spoke volumes to me because like especially like you guys know Shay just went freaking ambassador. You don't know how far away she was? Oh my gosh. Like she went live on the 25th and I was like, we're doing it. Because I was like, that's a lot of volume. But now seeing that Shay literally, her volume doubled from like 131,000 to 260,000 in 30 days. Oh, 40 is nothing. 40 is literally nothing compared to how much your team can grow if you're literally just running with it. So that was seriously so good. Katey, I just loved everything that you had to say. Literally, thank you. It was so good. I was so excited for this. If anyone has any last minute questions for her, please drop them in the chat. But again, I just appreciate it so much. So freaking thankful for you. Cannot wait to go freaking presidential with you. I'm excited.
Okay, we're doing it. Going.
Okay. We're doing it, you guys. I'm so proud of y'all. Oh, wait, another thing. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording because I forgot about something. But